Hey, Vinyl Groovers. It's Sunday, and here I am. Tonight, we're going to talk about an artist that, for me, kind of exemplifies America, especially since it's 4th of July weekend and all. This artist sung about fishermen, sung about working in the steel mills, sung about America in general. And that's artist I'm going to reveal in just a second. Catch you on the other side. Hey, welcome back. Yeah, if you're wondering what artist I'm talking about Billy Joel. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have a ton of Billy Joel because I happen to actually like the guy. Um, I know he's got some stories about him and his ego, but he's a pretty good artist and his voice is phenomenal. One of the best little trivial nuggets I can give you is I went and saw him at Jazz Fest in New Orleans a few years back, and I think he's the only artist I've ever heard who actually sounds like you're listening to an actual live recording. He is just phenomenal, and you can tell his voice is in no shape or form stressed or strained or even aged over the years. He's a very incredible singer. Positively love him. And for all you people that are looking for something a little heavier, catch you next weekend. But for right now, we're going to talk about Billy Joel. Now, we're going to talk about something that I mentioned last week, which was the hassles. I know I brought this up last week and said, ooh, I can't wait to listen to this. I've heard a couple of songs off here. Yeah, there's some good songs on here. You got to realize this is Billy Joel, and I think it's like 1968. He's in a band. This is their second album. This is their last album, The Hassles. They go on from this. One of the band members goes on and joins Ram Jam. Billy Joel, who played keyboards and did vocals, he and another one of the bandmates go on and form Attila, which that's a rough album, and not in a good way. I'm still gonna get it though, but this one, it is kind of all over the place. It is kind of a psychedelic rock album, but you can still hear Billy Joel. You can still hear his vocals and his lyricist ability in a lot of these songs. Obviously, he's starting out. Obviously, you have to have a starting point, and this is where he started. Now, we go from this. Obviously, we go to Attila, and Attila does an album. Don't have the album. Eventually, I'll get it. I'm missing between Attila and actual Billy Joel albums. I think I'm missing 2 regular Billy Joel albums and the Attila album, as well as the first Hassles album. And then there's some recordings that he did for interviews. But I'm not so much worried about interview recordings. I like the music of Billy Joel. His first solo album was this one, Cold Springs Harbor. This is a unique album in that you have to really like Billy Joel to buy this album and to actually listen to this album. And the reason I say that, I mean, the songs on it are standards that you probably are familiar with. Let me just throw it out there. She's Got Away, You Can Make Me Free, Everybody Loves You Now, Why Judy Why, Falling of the Rain, Turn Around, You Look So Good to Me, Tomorrow Is Today, Nocturne, and Got to Begin Again. So obviously She's Got Away is the big song on this album. However, this album has some problems, and the one main problem this album has is it was lacquered at 8% faster speed. So what you end up with is Billy Joel kind of sounding like a high-pitched Mickey Mouse. It's very interesting. I remember playing it for my wife for the first time, and she said, "Why would anyone listen to this?" Well, you get it because it's Billy Joel. It's a collectible. This is actually a very counterfeited album. They do a lot of counterfeits on this album because of the rarity of the lacquer speed recording and things like that. So, you know, if you go buy this album and you're thinking you're getting original, be very careful. Check it out. You might find out that what you think is an original is actually a counterfeit. This is actually an original. I've made darn sure of it. It's not like it cost a gazillion dollars. It's just one of those things. I think it's like, if you get a original like this one that's in this condition, it's probably about 60 bucks. I didn't pay 60 bucks for it, but that's probably about what they're going for right now, just off the top of my head. So if you want an original and you want to hear Billy Joel sound like Mickey Mouse, there's your album. It's a novelty, is what it is. From there, Billy Joel goes to one of his most famous songs that he's known for, Piano Man. It's a good album. I like the Piano Man, and it's got some great songs. Almost every single Billy Joel album that you can get have great songs on them. They will speak to you in some manner. Don't expect to, well, I mean, there are some that are like compilations that have like all of his great stuff on it. But what I'm saying is, if you're looking for, albums like Piano Man to have like every awesome Billy Joel song on it, that's not this album. This is, he's putting them out. He hasn't created all the amazing songs. This one, Piano Man has, there it is. Captain Jack, great song. Traveling Prayer, Worst Comes to Worst, Stop in Nevada, The Ballad of Billy the Kid, Somewhere Along the Line, Piano Man, If I Only Had Words to Tell You, You're My Home, Ain't No Crime. So I love Captain Jack, and I love Piano Man, and I also love The Ballad of Billy the Kid, and that's a really good song too. So this is Billy Joel, Piano Man, and I believe this is like 1976. Let's see. I could be off on that date. It doesn't say off the top. Actually, what I'm thinking is it's like 1973. But, don't hold that against me. I can just tell you it's a good album. All right, next was his Turnstiles album. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. Street Life. I do that sometimes. I get something in my head and I want to go with it. But this is Street Life Serenade. It's not Turnstiles or anything else that I might say wacky. Just ignore that. But this is a good album too. It is kind of an in-between album. The next album after this is Turnstiles. But the songs on this one that he does is Street Life Serenade, Los Angelinos, The Great Suburb Showdown, Root Beer Rag, which is a good song, The Entertainer, which positively love The Entertainer, Weekend Song, Last the Big Time Spender, Souvenir, and Mexican Connection. To me, the big one on here is The Entertainer. Root Beer Rag is, he plays piano and he has an affinity for the ragtime piano music. So this is something to look at, if you're a Billy Joel fan like I am. Like I said, next came Turnstiles. And this is a great album. It really is. Say Goodbye to Hollywood, Summer High, Highland Falls, All You Want to Do Is Dance, New York State of Mind, James, Prelude, Angry Young Man, I've Loved These Days, and Miami 2017. Like I said, this has a lot of really good songs on it. This is probably my top 5 Billy Joel albums. It's good. So if you get a chance, check out Turnstiles. This one is probably my favorite Billy Joel album of all of his albums. And it's The Stranger. And I love The Stranger, and I'm going to tell you why. The one song that I positively love from The Stranger are Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. To me, that song sums up Billy Joel to a T. It is a classic, epic song about a guy and a girl who fall in love, and they go through their entire life together, and they end up divorced, and all the things that go on. It is a classic. I know a lot of people don't really, think that is probably his best song, but I positively love Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. I could listen to it over and over and over again. But that's not the only song on this album. Other songs on this album: Moving Out, Anthony's Song, The Stranger, Just the Way You Are, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, Vienna, Only the Good Die Young, She's Always a Woman, Get It Right the First Time, and Everybody Has a Dream. So this one is pretty much loaded from side A to side B with just great Billy Joel songs, hits, classics. So to me, this is my number one favorite Billy Joel album. Not my wife's, mine. So I'll get to hers in a minute. All right, next I have Souvenir by Billy Joel. This is not a studio album. This is a live album that he did at the Palmer Auditorium, University of Connecticut in New London, December 5th and 6th in 1976. So I picked it up just because it's Billy Joel, obviously, but on top of that, it is an album that is live, and I was kind of curious to see what kind of quality we'd have for a live album from this time period. This has The Ballad of Billy the Kid, Summer Highland Falls, New York State of Mind, Souvenir, The Entertainer, I've Loved These Days, Captain Jack, Los Angelinos, and Say Goodbye to Hollywood. So those are the songs on Souvenir. Next, Billy Joel, 52nd Street. It's a good album. Big Shot, which is, you know, how do you go wrong with Big Shot? Honesty, My Life, Zanzibar, Stiletto, Rosalinda's Eyes, Half a Mile Away, Until the Night, 52nd Street. All good songs. Pieced together, they create a good mood to listen to. And, you know, 52nd Street's a great album. A couple of real powerful ones off the bat with Honesty and Big Shot, and then My Life. So, you know, pick it up. Next, my wife's favorite album by Billy Joel, Glass Houses. Yeah, as you can see, there's nothing wrong with the album itself. It's just the sleeve. We've listened to it so many times, and it's been, you know, crushed and shoved in and everything else. She loves this album. It's got some great songs on it. You May Be Right, Sometimes a Fantasy, Don't Ask Me Why, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me, All for Lena, Don't Want to Be Alone, Sleeping With the Television On, Siesta, You Were the One, Close to the Borderline, and Through the Long Night. Really good songs. I love the image on here, you know, glass houses, don't throw rocks. You know, you get the message. Younger Billy Joel. He's got hair. But don't we all? As you get older, your hair starts thinning, no matter how much hair you have. Anyway, next is Songs in the Attic. This is, once again, more of a compilation. He does stuff. These are all studio done songs. She was recorded at Madison Square Garden. Then you have recorded in Washington, D.C., St. Paul Civic Center, Toad's Place, New Haven, Connecticut. So you have a lot of different recordings from different areas. So it's a good album. Not one of my all-time favorites. I would put it in the top 5. Probably more along the lines of, you know, 9, 10. But, you know, because the songs are on other albums too. So it's just a different mix of them, I guess. Next, the Nylon Curtain. This is more of a retrospect of what's going on in the world at this time. You have Allentown, Laura, Pressure, Goodnight Saigon, She's Right on Time, A Room of Our Own, Surprises, Scandinavian Skies, and Where's the Orchestra? So, you know, once again, like I said before, you know, I picked Billy Joel to talk about during the Memorial Day, 4th of July Day weekend. I'm going back in time. 4th of July weekend. And the reason is he has a lot of songs about America and the things that we've been through and the things that he's seen. So, you know, look at Allentown, Pennsylvania, things that they've gone through in the late 70s, early 80s. Goodnight Saigon with Vietnam. So it's kind of a, you know, speaking to America at that time. So, you know, it's a good album. Nylon Curtain. Check it out. Then we move into MTV Generation. This is what I remember. I remember turning on the TV. I remember when MTV launched. When they played music videos and they were actually a decent channel rather than, I don't know what they are now. They're not, definitely not music television. They should be just called reality TV, I guess, or teenage TV, because it's not music videos anymore. Obviously, if you flip over to like MTV2 or whatever else, you can watch music videos, but that's not the point. The point is you look back on MTV and you go, oh, I wish we had videos like that. They were like little movies all the time then. You know, it just really brought you closer to music. I guess now you can flip on YouTube and watch whatever you want, but it was something about having a video music jockey that would piece together these great videos and put them out there for you to watch, and then narrate in between, give you some news about what's happening with bands or whatever else. I don't think we really have anything like that today's day and age, unless you go online and just watch everything online. But more and more people are, I guess, getting off of regular cable TV and things like that, so MTV kind of just fell by the wayside. Either way, I digress, because I'm talking about Billy Joel and now I'm stuck on MTV. Fast forward that part. But either way, this is An Innocent Man. He did a lot of stuff. I mean, this is a great album. I mean, this is probably my number 2 album. I told you what my number 1 was. This is my number 2, just because I know every song on this like the back of my hand. I can see the videos every time I listen to the song. If you haven't seen the videos for this album, put it on YouTube and watch the videos. He harkens back to his roots, what the musicians that he grew up listening to that influenced him. He kind of used their influence on this album. You get a nice 50s harmony and a certain feel from that time period gone by. Songs on here, Easy Money. If you haven't seen the Rodney Dangerfield movie from the early 80s, that's the theme song to it. Great movie if you haven't seen it. Innocent Man, The Longest Time, This Night, Tell Her About It, Uptown Girl, which Christy Brinkley's in that video, and obviously he ends up marrying Christy Brinkley. But Uptown Girl, Careless Talk, Christy Lee, Leave a Tender Moment Alone, and Keeping the Faith. Great album. It's one of the ones that, you know, I will always have this album, you know, no matter what. Even if this one were to break tomorrow, I'm going to go out and buy it again, because it's just, love this album. Like I said, it's my number 2. Next is Billy Joel, The Bridge. Billy Joel, The Bridge. This is not as successful as An Innocent Man, but it's still a good album in its own right. You have Matter of Trust and Baby Grand, which are probably the 2 biggest songs off of this album. Other songs on here, Running on Ice, This Is the Time, A Matter of Trust, Modern Woman, Baby Grand, Big Man on Mulberry Street, Temptation, Code of Silence, and Getting Closer. And maybe Big Man on Mulberry Street is a good, a bigger hit too. There's Billy Joel with hair again, you know. But this is a decent album, and you can't go wrong with any Billy Joel that you pick up, honestly. They're all good. You're going to enjoy any of it, especially if you're not familiar with Billy Joel. Next album we have is, it's a good album. I remember getting this on CD when it came out, and not sure what I was going to get. And what I ended up getting was it was a really good live album. This is Billy Joel. And this is the Russian album. I'm not going to call it what it's really supposed to be called, because I don't read Russian and I have no idea about how to pronounce it. So I will tell you, it's Billy Joel's Red Russian album. He's got some good compilation of all of his songs that are quality songs. They're all live. It's all live recordings. There's a Russian song on here, Odoya. But then it goes into Angry Young Man, Honesty, Goodnight Saigon, Stiletto, Big Man on Mulberry Street, Baby Grand, Innocent Man, Allentown, Matter of Trust, Only the Good Die Young, Sometimes a Fantasy, Uptown Girl, Big Shot, Back in the USSR, which obviously is a Beatles song, and The Times They Are Changing. So it's a good album. It's a good live album. You might enjoy it. You know, I'm not a huge live album person. I typically don't listen to live albums on vinyl or any other format. And there's exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, yeah, I'm not a big live album fan. I think one of the best live albums ever done. Well, I'll save that for another time. I'm not going to talk about it now because then I run out of things to talk about later. So you'll see. I may go through my favorite live albums later on, and we'll go from there. The last one I have, because obviously I'm missing two albums. I'm missing Stormfront and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. Let's just say I'm missing two albums. Anyway, I got this at Record Store Day this last year. Not the year that we haven't had Record Store Day. You know, we're going to have 4 coming up real soon. Record Store last 2019 before the COVID hit. Anyway, this is Billy Joel. This is live at Carnegie Hall, 1977. You know, it was Billy Joel. It was a live album. Like I said, I'm not a huge live album fan, but it is Billy Joel. It is Carnegie Hall, which it changes the dynamics a little bit because it's not necessarily an open arena or something that has horrible acoustics. Carnegie Hall is known for really good sounds, so that's why I picked it up. And it has a lot of the same stuff that all the other albums together provide a compilation for this one. For example, it has Miami 2017, Prelude, Angry Young Man, New York State of Mind, Just the Way You Are, She's Got Away, The Entertainer, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. See, I'd buy it just for that. Band introductions, then Captain Jack, I've Loved These Days, Say Goodbye to Hollywood, and Souvenir. So that is my Billy Joel collection. I've mentioned it many times, and now you know what I have. I'm missing a few albums, and I'll get them eventually. I'm in no hurry. I pick them up as I see them. If something stands out to me and I find it in the wild, I'll buy it. If it's online, typically I wait until I see it out in the wild. It's like the Hassles album. I probably could have picked the Hassles album up online if I really looked hard enough, but I wanted to wait and see if I could actually find it myself. It's more fun digging and looking for things that, you're excited about. And then when you find it, it's like, wow, I've struck gold. Every gold in these heroes. Anyway, hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. You know the whole routine. The more subscribers I have, the better the channel can get, because I get constant requests for different things, and I try to include them wherever I can. Somebody sent me something saying, I'd like you to focus on some harder albums. So like I said, next artist spotlight, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on some heavier music for my heavy metal fans or hard rock fans or punk fans or whatever category you may fall into. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this. And like I said, if you go out, see what you can find, and hopefully I can catch you listening to some great music. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend, and I'll catch you again next Sunday.